of the persons that were revealed in Brown Mogotsi's testimony is the handler. And the handler seems to be a very important actor in this whole personality of Brown Mogotsi. Today, we have a man called Brown Mogotsi who goes about doing a lot of things and also making a lot of allegations in the Madlanga Commission. That is because of this handler. In this video, let us unpack who is this handler, because actually, in actual fact, he did reveal to us the handler who's actually giving him the instruction and telling him what should be done and what should not be done. Let us unpack.
Some people say, "Igarano fidla Brown Mogotsi mole." Igarano fidla kwa Madlanga. I can see. I can more TT or. I think you must plan the show, chief. That Brown Mogotsi. I don't think he will arrive.
In your statement, I will read exactly what you say when you introduce this subject of recruitment. You say, I obtained information from one of my sources that King Misuzulu and Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi were recruited by and actively worked for and with the American Central Intelligence Agency, in brackets CIA. Relayed to us by you, this information is hearsay. And relayed to you by your source, it is hearsay. So it is hearsay upon hearsay or double hearsay. Do you agree?
I do not agree, commissioners. In this world, the intelligence world, when there is a suspicion, you may presume, you can say yes, it's a hearsay, how a general person will think. But a contact agent, an underground operative, will have to investigate.
So Brown Mogotsi said that he's an agent. He's literally a police informant, IMPIMPI, and that's who he is. And it seems like, he's been doing this job, and that's the reason why he knows a lot of things. And if you guys remember, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi used to ask himself why this man has so much information.
And his name is so-and-so, and this is what he claims to be close to the minister. When I phoned the chief of staff to verify his identity, the chief of staff confirmed that, yes, indeed, the guy is close to the minister. But he's not working for the minister. He's maybe a politician or somewhere from Northwest. So, but how will a person who's outside the department have in his possession information from the police, a report, as well as a copy of the OP? How does he get hold of it?
And now he came and said that it's because he's an informant, even though, if you guys remember, that Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi did dispute these claims and said that this man is not a police informant, but apparently he's an informant, and him being an informant dates back to the time of Sindile Christopher Pitso, who is also known as Mfazi, Pitso Mfazi, who was the cadre of the NC. Let us first understand Pitso.
During December 2020, I was called by the late Lieutenant General Mfazi. It was just after the PPE scandal, after the COVID-19. And it was also after the arrest of Divisional Commissioner Lieutenant General Jacobs, Major General Kalakala, and others. And when he called me for a task in my capacity as a contact agent to investigate, also to check the irregularities within the crime intelligence.
So Pitso, as I've said, is the cadre of the NC. He's been part of MOGOTSI'S and has went there to be part of the military wing of the ANC. He rose to power that at some point he joined the Communist Party and became the security, or someone that provides security and safety to people like Prizani and Moses Mabhida. So this man rose and got sick due to COVID-19 and lost his life. But that is the type of biography that he has. And he was at some point the Deputy National Police Commissioner. And that is how Brown Mogotsi got to be introduced, because it seems like this man trained Brown Mogotsi from what Brown Mogotsi said.
They wanted the particular handler to be my handler. And I told him, no, but I do have a handler, General Mfazi, who was Warrant Officer Mabisela. But then the one that he called, we then agreed that he'll be my co-handler.
Mogotsi even said that after him passing on, some of the people that he was working with to be his co-handler, if I'm not mistaken, was Mabisela. So he has a handlers team in the SAPS. So the question that came is, who are these people? We all wanted to know. His name was written in a piece of paper. We did not see the name, but the commissioners know the name. Let us unpack some of the things that show this person who they are, especially considering everything that has been going on in the Madlanga Commission.
Mfazi passed away in 2021, excuse me, and then immediately my handler has instructed me to lay low. And by the way, there is an investigation on the passing of Lieutenant General Mfazi, the suspicion of being poisoned. There is that investigation by IDEC. However, my handler instructed me to lay low, which I did, but I kept communication between the handler and the co-handler.
Can I just clarify? Certainly, the official recorded cause of death for Lieutenant General Mfazi is COVID, is it not?
That's correct.
And do you know why you were instructed to lay low?
I did not. I took it that because the General Mfazi has passed on, the handler is probably thinking there should be other things that will come up at a later stage. But there was no way I could continue when the handler say you must lay low.
He first started by speaking about them uncovering certain information for the police and that they're receiving an amount of 3,000 rands. Keep in mind that 3,000 rands because he made a trip in Kenya where he wanted certain information about Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, and that trip costed him 15,000. I don't know how does it work. Is it 3,000 per operation or it's 3,000 every month? That is what I don't understand.
When recruited, you will obviously, after meeting your handler, after a week or so, he'll come and probably give a recruitment fee of some sort. And you will gradually be talking about your tasks and so forth. And here and there, he will assist you and bring you some payment, which all the time you'll have to sign some papers on receiving of that payment.
And I think that you guys must always keep in mind that this was just an examination in chief where he's saying his side of the story. Tomorrow is going to be a cross-examination. Very interesting, I must say.
Witnesses making the allegations were allowed to tell their stories without interruption or without hostile questioning. And so in fairness to Mr. Mogotsi and to all other witnesses who come in this stage, we propose that we will allow the witnesses to tell their story first. We will lead them on their statements without interrogating in any detail the allegations that they make in their statements so that they have the opportunity to tell their story in full without hostile interruption. Once they have completed their statements, we will then shift to a more intrusive form of questioning just to test the veracity of the allegations that are made.
He started speaking about Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi as well as the Chief Misuzulu.
King Misuzulu and Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi were recruited by the CIA. You start paying attention to everything they do.
May I, please, it's a simple question. Okay. I don't even understand why you would dispute what I'm suggesting to you. In my language, which is the isiXhosa, hearsay is undiva.
Okay.
I've asked my co-commissioners what it is in Setswana, and they tell me that it's mabaribari.
It's true.
You know that?
Yes, I know that.
So all I'm asking you
is
whether you accept Hore.
Yes, it was Mabaribari when it was first presented.
Yes, I'm not asking about what you would then establish afterwards.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Of the Mazulu kingdom, and he said that these people are CIA agents. They were trained there. There's just a lot of big deal around that, and this story has been trending. And I think, if you have anything you want to say about that, please comment your thoughts. But that is really not the gist of this video. The gist of this video is to find the characteristics that make up this person that is said to be the handler. So the first thing that he spoke about was the issue of Vusumuzi Matlala's tender. So if you guys remember that Vusumuzi Matlala received a tender with the SAPS, and it seems like things didn't go well because there were some payments that were missing that were supposed to be done by the government or by the SAPS towards the tender that Vusumuzi Matlala received.
Of course, called Matlala, engaged with Matlala. A meeting was arranged on 7 December 2024, during which Matlala vented his frustrations regarding the SAPS tender. He intimated Nhlanhla that SAPS had not made payments to him with reference to the tender. But after the meeting, and in December, I received a call from Matlala saying, because I think I must emphasize on 32, that this was a telephonic call. And then after I received the second call, that's when we met with Matlala, saying that I should speak to Mkunu, as he and his wife have been assaulted by members of the PKTT. He indicated that he was intent on and was indeed attempting to open a criminal case regarding the incident at SAPS Brooklyn. He was, however, unsuccessful due to the fact that the SAPS refused to open a docket and receive the complaint.
And he also spoke about the operations of December and how they went about to end up opening a case of assault that Vusumuzi Matlala were victims to, together with his wife. And if you guys remember Witness A, B, and C, they did speak about those situations and those cases that were opened. And one of the key people that Brown Mogotsi said helped them to open the case or advised them to open the case is the handler. That is the first characteristic.
And then it was my handler, Mabisela, who then spoke to my co-handler, who then facilitated the opening of the docket. Now, after Matlala thereafter was able to open the case through my intervention. So the case was opened at SAPS in Soweto on 7 December 2024. And on that day, me and Matlala met.
And if you guys remember from these three witnesses, the person that encouraged, from what they found out from Vusumuzi Matlala, that he should go open the case was Senzo Mchunu and Shadrack Sibiya. Keep that in mind.
He further spoke about General BHEKI and General MASEMOLA, saying that, these people expect me, like MASEMOLA, expect 25 million rand from me, and I've already given him 5 million rand. He also spoke about BHEKI that he has given him 2 million rand, and he wanted 10 million, which means the 8 million rand was outstanding. One of the important things he said was that General MASEMOLA and CELE, they are having a plan, a comeback strategy for General BHEKI to come back.
He says that Vusumuzi Matlala wanted to know about the status of his tender, and also he bribed, in the process he bribed FANIE MASEMOLA, Dumsani Khumalo, and BHEKI. So those were some of the people that we bribed in order for them to give him information with regards to the tender and what is going on with that. And he says that these monies that we pay to these people are the monies that he received, or are the monies from the tender that he had to share with MASEMOLA and BHEKI.
Matlala told me about his financial transactions with Minister BHEKI. Now, there is something, I believe the Commission will have access to that. The Commission should perhaps direct attention to the crime intelligence in their archives. There is something called Boko Haram. It was a presentation, intelligence presentation, which was presented to the former Minister BHEKI. I'm going to give a bit description about the presentation. Commissioners, it was 6 pages. The Boko Haram, it talks to a man who was known as John Wick. This John Wick appears on the presentation of the intelligence presentation which was presented to Minister BHEKI. It has a picture of John Wick, his ID number, it has his previous convictions, pending cases, and everything, all the matters that were withdrawn against him. It was in 2018 October, Commissioner. Commissioner, John Wick is Vusumuzi Matlala.
This testimony about the tender became so messed up and so tricky to a point that we remember that even he even said that they had to surveil Matlala because Matlala wanted to meet the minister, and they didn't want that. And the handler is the one that ensured that that doesn't happen. He said that Vusumuzi Matlala cannot meet the minister, and that is another component that is very important. There is this handler who seems like he doesn't want Vusumuzi Matlala to meet the minister. You must understand one thing about such things and money flows is that there's always that middleman. And the handler, in a way with Brown Mogotsi, there were these middlemen that were a bridge between Matlala and minister. If now Matlala meets the minister, there would not be a need for them anymore, meaning that they won't be benefiting the way they've been benefiting from Matlala. Because I think that from tomorrow, I hope the commissioners will find a way to ask. I have a belief that Brown Mogotsi was, I have a belief that to a certain degree, Vusumuzi Matlala was giving some money to the handler and probably knew the handler.
In this situation, I remember very well that he did tell me that he spoke to my co-handler and that we should find a way to meet with General Sibiya.
And why General Sibiya?
One of the reasons from the source was that General Sibiya was totally not involved in the awarding of this tender, and more relevantly, General Sibiya was appointed exactly in the space of the late General Mfazi. So we thought we could find a way to create a relationship, probably.
And you say you called General Sibiya.
Probably knew the handler. So I think that is one example that should show you that there is this handler. This handler knows the minister, Brown Mogotsi knows the minister, and is making sure that Vusumuzi Matlala does not know the minister.
Matlala must never meet with Senzo Mchunu. My responsibility would rather be to manage him or to say things that I know would never materialize. But it was a clear instruction that they should never meet.
For whatever reason. But I think that one of the reasons is because of they didn't want to lose the money. For as long as they remain the middleman, they'll forever meet the money. Because remember that Brown Mogotsi even said that Nhlanhla, in a way, he was making him a fool, luring him, giving him hope that he's going to meet the minister, even though he knew that he's not going to meet the minister. Because at the end of the day, what they wanted from him was money. So I believe that even the handlers themselves, somehow, they might have, received some money. Put that at the back of your mind.
From the handler,
yes,
that I should rather, how about I arrange a meeting with Chief of Staff Shadrack Sibiya,
yes,
but I won't let the minister knows that I arranged that meeting. Still, the handler refused.
So the handler, so what you're saying in paragraph 43, I'm at 43 now, are you there saying the handler refused you arranging a meeting with the Chief of Staff and Mkhwanazi? Is that what you're conveying in that?
Yes, both of them. Yes, I must stay away from the minister's office.
When you say minister's office, you mean the people in that office?
Yes,
or
the minister
office?
And the Chief of Staff. Yeah, that's correct.
Thank you.
When someone says, I need to be paid, I have a problem, man, come on, man, I need to meet the minister. You can't say no if you are an operative. You say, I'll find a way. I know that there is an NEC meeting or the minister is being called. Sometimes you listen to the media. Immediately when you hear, you type in a message, hey, the minister could be available. He's now going to Cape Town. This is a portfolio meeting. Even when the portfolio is visual, you will even say he went to Cape Town to that meeting. The issue is you must keep contact with your target.
This Vusumuzi Matlala situation, it even ended up him going to KZN, saying that he's going to this person that is going to protect him.
Going to meet someone who was going to solve his problems, I remembered. And he said it was General Mkhwanazi,
who happens to be Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, of which all of that, I'm not going to lie, doesn't make sense, and I'm not going to entertain it. Unless you are interested, you can comment your thoughts in the comment section down below regarding that. But I really don't. I feel like it's one of the most absurd things that Brown Mogotsi has said in his testimony.
It was only 2 days that time. The handler must find someone in KZN who must facilitate that, because the Uber driver is from KZN. But that was only 2 days time, and we have only agreed upon 1,000 rand at the time, which I spoke to my handler and was able to give him something like that.
Yes, I'm thinking the tender, as I understand, was a tender concluded at national level. Did Mr. Matlala explain how the KwaZulu-Natal commissioner, SAPS commissioner, would have assisted on this?
He never said. Can I? This is an omission. Honestly, I thought maybe he was going to meet General CELE or someone close to General CELE. But then I only got surprised when he said it was General Mkhwanazi and I was in his house.
Then we're moving along to the issue of Khan. So Khan, it is said that he's about to be dismissed from work because of the corruptions thing that were involved. And then they found a police officer who said that about General Mkhwanazi, they were forcing him to say things against Khan, and told Brown Mogotsi. And then Brown Mogotsi used Section 252A. And Section 252A says that you can tape someone if you are working on an undercover investigation. So that is what Brown Mogotsi did in order for them to get this information from this person, which was later on leaked to the media. The leaking. You remember, guys, the leaking of information. That is what they did. That is the information that he gave to the handler.
So if I can clarify, this man was brought to you by Matlala.
Yes, he told me there is one hiking rate. He used the word, there's another bra that I want you to meet. He has something for you, and I believe the minister may want to hear, and the minister can do something. And I met this man who I have, in fact, I briefed my handler first to say there is this man who wants to meet with me, and then he's saying he has this kind of information. But when I met this man, I did a recording on our conversation. And immediately as an agent, after informing my handler, we had to process that because with the DPCI for a Section 252A. And I did meet with Lieutenant Colonel Schnell to register and apply for and conduct the operation in terms of that section of the law. My intention there, Commissioners, was to employ the information that I obtained from the senior officer in the Section 204 that he can, against General Mkhwanazi and Lieutenant General Kumal, because that's what he told me, that in Durban, they plotted on how to expel General Khan.
And we know who is the leakist in this whole story. There's one person who's the biggest leakist. That is the third characteristic, the leaking of the information, leakists of note, leakering, leakishing. Remember that one. Now moving right along to the Nairobi. Remember that the handler is still there. The handler is always directing Mogotsi on what Mogotsi should do, what should be done, what information that they want. So now there is this situation of the information that they want against Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. They started with the one that Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi and Misuzulu, they are CIA agents. They saw that maybe that one is not working. They then went to Nathi Mthethwa to find that information, of which Nathi Mthethwa sent them to a guy in Kenya who is George. And George was supposed to provide more information with regards to those allegations. And when Brown Mogotsi traveled, remember with that 3,000 per month or per day, I don't know how it works, but with that 3,000 traveled in with the money from his own pocket and went to Kenya to inquire about Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi being an agent, because this man apparently has an information about the CIA agents. And remember, at the back of your mind, who? You got it right, the handler.
This he said, I needed to travel to Kenya to meet with the contact who was aware of CIA operations in South Africa.
Can I just stop you at this point? Had you ever met the late Minister Mthethwa before?
As a member of the ANC, long time, yes.
And how did you contact him?
You mean now before? Yes, I had his WhatsApp numbers. I believe even the gadgets, remember it's known, there was a session seizure on my phones recently. That number, I'll give you the name I saved it under, is there. The name is there.
And where was he when you contacted him?
No, we only spoke over the phone. I think he was overseas.
And he said you needed to travel to Kenya to meet a contact.
That's correct.
And did he give you details of who this contact was and how to get hold of him?
He gave me the name and the contact numbers on WhatsApp. I phoned this person at some stage. He said to us in Tanzania, and he was going to come back 3-4 days later. And when I called, he confirmed he was back in Kenya. And that's when I left to Kenya on the 10th of September 2025. I believe in some annexures the ticket is also, I've annexed the proof of the ticket, and I returned back from Kenya on the 12th of September 2025.
So when he got there, the trip was not really rewarding, because he didn't get the information that he wanted. It was just the thing of, probably, yes, you are right, these people are, CIA agents, or this person called Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi.
Also held a suspicion. He also held a suspicion, which...
We know that Nathi Mthethwa and Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi have never had a good relationship, especially considering the issue of this, when Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi was the National Police Commissioner, the acting National Police Commissioner, and Nathi Mthethwa was the Minister of Police, and he wanted General Mkhwanazi to, in a way, assist him with the corruption of an ANC official. And Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi didn't agree on that, to a point that the sour relationships between them grew, and that he even had to go and resign, tell Matlala that, you know what, I'm done with everything. So Nathi Mthethwa has his own ulterior motives when it comes to Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi.
And when you bring these dots together, there is a theory in intelligence commissioners which is called misdirection. And you start to see how this 6th July is more like staged, from what I saw, from what I'm seeing. And when I was trying to tell him, and he laughed, he could not, but he's also carrying the issue of the suspicion.
From what you are saying, it seems to me that there was a lot of information from you, but on the bottom line, which is what we had gone to Nairobi for, all you got was just this one-liner. There is a possibility.
Yes, which will help me to investigate. We'll continue to investigate, and we'll finally get the truth, because this is just a suspicion.
And the thing is that this thing was started after the brief. This whole thing of Nairobi and Kenya, it was started after the brief. Who is one person in the SAPS that you think wants Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi down, especially in crime detention? That's another characteristic that you should think of. Now moving right along to the 4th characteristic. He said that he knows that only one person knows that he's an informant in crime detention, and that is Shadrack Sibiya. Ain't that enough for you to see already who is the handler? Okay, let us move to the last point.
Spoke 2 or 3 times over the phone. Then I requested to meet him, and we met here in Gauteng. And that's when I told him that I am a contact agent, and this is what I'm looking for, and there is a project I'm an award of attender in South African Police Service, and I used to work with Lieutenant General Mfazi and so forth. That's when I introduced myself formally.
And when approximately was this?
It was around August last year, or September, August.
And do you remember where you met?
Yes, we met. At first I came to his office, and there is something very important that I should also mention, commissioners. The moment you inform a person that you are this particular agent, I believe you can hear, as it is spoken by me, myself, that everyone heard Lieutenant Sibiya, General Sibiya speak in Parliament that we met in December and what. At first, the intention was to bring this application in camera. And I know he had a view that he had to protect me. He couldn't speak what I'm saying here to the public. That perhaps a question will be posed, but we had General Sibiya. Okay, he even said, I didn't pay my breakfast in Twitter. But I'm trying to say, it should not be misconceived that I'm saying something he did not say. He had a duty to protect me. That's why he could not allude openly that this is Brown Mogotsi, we met. He just said, I came to him with information that someone is after you in crime intelligence. He did not speak to this that I'm saying.
You say and told him that you're a contact agent. Now, I would assume that he would have wanted to check for himself to verify you. You say he didn't quite know to trust you at the time.
Yes.
Did you have to tell him who your handler is? Because I would imagine that's relevant information.
Yes.
For him.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he knew my co-handler.
Oh, he did?
Yes, co-handler. Okay.
He knew that it is your co-handler.
Yes, I did mention a bit that I'm working with this man so and so.
The last one, he spoke about the disbandment. Apparently, he received a letter. He's saying that he saw it on social media. But now, the removal of the docket to Shadrack Sibiya, his explanation is rather very questionable. He says that he knew of that or made that conclusion because he knows that Shadrack Sibiya, as a Deputy National Police Commissioner, it's just common cause that the dockets will just go to him.
It was a public social media. In fact, it was all over, commissioners, even in other social media groups. I saw that letter on the first, but because of the content of the letter, I decided to withhold the letter for a while, just to see whether is it authentic or not. But as it was still in my possession, it continued to be viral, even the second day. But I did send him a message at night without sharing the letter itself.
Let me just ask you then, after all these characteristics that I've made right now, are you telling me that you guys don't see that the handler is Shadrack Sibiya, allegedly? Are you telling me that you guys don't see all these things already said by witness A and witness B? You guys just, like, literally, this man literally draw a picture of Shadrack Sibiya. Everything points back to him. I'm just making my own conclusion. There's other people that are involved. And just hear me out.
The perceived links that I have with persons in the underworld is drawn from WhatsApp communication inter alia with Matlala, which were sent and in execution of my task orders received from my handler in the crime intelligence.
Can I just stop you there? Was your handler aware of your WhatsApp communications with Mr. Matlala?
You tell the handler, I just greeted him, he said, he's fine. No, you'll tell him, I'm going to have a discussion with him, and this is what I'm going to draw, and this is what I want to achieve, or perhaps this is what I have achieved. And you will have your briefings 3 or 2 times a week, but usually you will have to bring everything that you discussed with him.
And would you bring your cell phone so that the handler could actually see the WhatsApp communications?
Yeah, not at all material times. It depends on the content of the discussion. For example, where he insists, I will really have to meet with Minister Senzon-Tun. You will then come to him and say, hey, Bafo, this man now is adamant, he's putting pressure. He wants to see Minister Senzon-Tun.
Thanks. Then if you can continue with paragraph 65 and 66.
From the outset, and despite the perception which I effectively created with General Mkhwanazi that I was close to and had the ear of Mkhunu, I deny that I had any personal relationship of any kind with him. Him means Mr. Mkhunu. I was neither an associate nor a friend of Mkhunu. I regarded him, and I still do, as a comrade. In the same way as I wanted to create a perception and belief in the mind of Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, I wanted to create perception in the mind of Matlala, but for different purposes. Both, however, will be the execution of my task instruction received from my handler at Crime Intelligence.
This Ketlas Tole, yena, he became the national commissioner after I think at that time when he was national commissioner, Pitso was his deputy. And when Pitso passed away, I think shortly after that, BHEKI wanted him gone because him and BHEKI didn't have good relations. Then he left the position, which was then occupied by FANIE MASEMOLA, and then the deputy position occupied by Shadrack Sibiya. But we can see the trend that so far it seems like the handler of these informants is a deputy national police commissioner. However, I'm assuming that there's other detectives that are involved in between Shadrack Sibiya and this person. This person topped it up and said that he's never met Shadrack Sibiya, they've only met once and all of that. Why is it that after the unaliving of Pitso, or not even the unaliving, when Pitso lost his life after COVID-19, he then came back again in 2024. A very Keninda that is involved in Senzo Meyiwa's case. So now we have this Ketla person, we have Shadrack Sibiya. But high chances Ketla is not involved, but he himself has his own share of allegations. But I just want to put it to you, allegedly, that Shadrack Sibiya, he is the handler of this whole entire thing. From the characteristics that we've been given by Brown Mogotsi, they point straight to him. Another thing that is very important to note is that crime intelligence, whenever we deal with informers and stuff like that, according to the law, these senior officials are not supposed to be dealing with informers. They are not supposed to be dealing with informers. That is why in most cases, informers, their handlers are mostly people in a junior level. Like, for example, captains and colonels, those junior people instead of generals. Generals normally work with informants through those colonels and stuff like that. And I think what happened with this situation is that there's a captain. He keeps on referring to Mabisela, if you guys have heard, that is part of the handlers, Mabisela, but he has not revealed the co-handler, but he's revealed Mabisela. I don't know if this is the Mabisela that he's talking about, but from my research, Mabisela is a captain. He's Captain Madimeja, if I'm not mistaken, Madimeja Mabisela. Let me just confirm here, guys. So there's a colonel, a captain called Madumeja, yes, Madumeja Mabisela. He's a SAPS Crime Intelligence Finance Administrator. I don't know if it's finance administrator or what, but he was involved. You see, remember, guys, that situation of Dumsani Kumalo, the properties in Durban, which the IDEC is involved in investigating Abu Kumalo no FANIE MASEMOLA, and we've heard O'Sullivan being so loud about the situation, being very, very too much on that situation. There is a Mabisela that is involved, and it's this captain, Madimeja. And if indeed this captain is involved and it is the Mabisela that this guy is talking about, it all makes sense now. I've tried to look for his picture. And I've been struggling. And one thing I've noticed is that these really, really corrupt police officers, they always stay away from the media. You can't find their pictures. Even when the media reports on them, they don't give you guys their pictures, which is very questionable. But I'm not there. I was just trying to show you guys that there is a man called Mabisela, a captain, and is involved in that property situation that was leaked. You remember that Ulondo's, who's this one? The lady from Parliament, the ad hoc, knew about that. Even Fidel Adams knew about that. I think it's Collar Bernard. Yes, Collar Bernard and Fidel Adams knew about those properties. These are the properties that involve this man, Mabisela. We don't know if he is the man that is also involved, is the one who actually leaked this information and gave this information to these people, but is apparently involved in this property situation. It just became a coincidence that this man, Mabisela, is connected to all of this. Could it be that that is the Mabisela that Brown Mogotsi is referring to? I might be wrong. That is allegedly, and from the information that I've looked up to, as to who is this Mabisela. And the only Mabisela could find is this one, and he's working in crime intelligence, and he is connected to this property scandal. Make of this information whatever that you may. But what I've noticed is that Brown Mogotsi was giving us hearsay evidence, as the commissioners even said. And I think hearsay evidence is very tricky, guys, when you're dealing with such. Hearsay evidence, it's hard to cross-examine. If you go deal with hearsay evidence, I can easily say, I don't know. The day you cross-examine me, I will say, I don't know. I just heard. I don't know. Bari bari. That is why they call it mabari bari. Because it's that thing of that she said, I'm not sure, but I heard. I'm not sure. I don't have evidence, but they said. I don't know if you guys understand what I mean. So it's very problematic to listen to hearsay evidence. And Brown Mogotsi's entire evidence was hearsay. Hence, in the end, when he gets to be asked, he'll just say, I don't know, I don't understand. That is very problematic. I don't know what you guys think about the testimony. Do you think that it was worth watching? Do you think that he tried his best? Was it anything that you expected? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like for me, it was just some crazy evidence of someone just telling us something without any backing. And then I wanted to close off by talking about two things. And number one is the protest that happened in the Madlanga in the morning. So there was a union that came there, I think it's from Ekurhuleni or something of that kind. And from the boards, you can see that these people are people that have serious grievances against the Ekurhuleni municipality. And they thought that maybe they're not going to get their chance. And the matter got to be clarified. So that is very important. And I also got a question of career. What is it to do to Brown Mogotsi's career, this testimony? I just think that an informer is supposed to be someone that is in the secret. So Brown Mogotsi, we know him. What's the purpose of him being an informer when we know that he's an informer? It defeats the whole thing. Imagine me sitting down with Brown Mogotsi, there sipping tea, knowing very well that this person is an informer. But if I don't know, it will be easy for him to nap out the truth out of me. So with him now being an informer, all of us, we know how many people were watching today's proceedings. I doubt that his career will do well, but you must not worry. You must not even think of it. He has Nhlanhla agency. His fiance owns that business. He also has some clubs, or I don't know if it's a club or a tavern that is owning there in Mafikeng. So he has money. He's fine. He's been an informant for years, and he's been receiving money from government, from taxpayers' money, which they've allocated to crime intelligence. He's been receiving that money with false information that is not justified, with no evidence whatsoever. This is the time for these newsrooms to come and ask, where is the evidence, Brown? I would have wanted him to delve deep more on the issue of Fikile Mbalula, because he made serious allegations about Fikile Mbalula. I would have loved for him to delve deep on that, on what did he mean. And I don't know, probably tomorrow the commissioners are going to ask, but some of the things that I think are not going to be addressed in the commission, in the ad hoc, they're definitely going to ask, because ad hoc is more broader in terms of questions. There's like how many MPs that are going to ask. Definitely they're going to cover that topic. And then I also wanted to talk about Melusi Gigaba. It has been charged. Hey guys, yeah, I don't know if Melusi Gigaba, I don't know if we should do an episode on that, but he's also been charged, and I don't know if he's already in prison or what happened. But yeah, that is what is going on. I don't know what you guys think. Please comment your thoughts. Otherwise, I will see you in my next upload.